We've got some
Hey,
fresh
I'm
new young
Luis.
talent
And
doing
I'm
some
FONZI.
things that I
And
haven't
welcome
heard
to
before.
Content is Profit.
In here, you're going to get the insights, accountability, and drive to create consistently and increase revenue.
Ooh, that's right. You'll hear from top entrepreneurs, creators, and anything and everything you need to know about content. All this while having a good time.
The goal of this podcast is simple: to entertain, educate, and turn your content into profit.
That's right, guys. Welcome back. We did mention it earlier, but we took a day off. We went to Orlando to the parks and have fun with our sisters that we haven't seen her in about 12
know.
years. So it
To
was
be
fun.
kids again.
To be kids again.
All three of us.
And be sunburned.
Plus our niece.
Nice hat you got, by the way.
I know. I was thinking I should totally wear the hat in the podcast. I think it would be epic, but I wouldn't be able to fit the headphones. So
I know.
I'll think about that one for
we
next
gotta
time.
figure out a way. But if you want to see a picture of Fonzi's hat, just go to his social media and you'll find it there. But Fonzi, what are we talking about today? We have 15 minutes to cover this amazing topic, and I cannot wait.
Oh yeah, today we're talking about a $12 billion train that already took off and then
Gone.
How can we potentially leverage that in the B2B world?
Can we catch the train? Did you catch the train? 12 billion bucks. That's a lot of moolah, man.
Yeah, that is a lot of money. So what is the train we're talking about?
Is the TikTok train.
The TikTok train.
Choo-choo.
I know. I think this could be you on the dad jokes. I think, when people hear TikTok, I think some people cringe. Some people are excited. Some people love the platform. Some people dislike very much the platform.
Do you like the platform, Fonzi?
I've been a consumer. I had to uninstall it from my phone. I had to delete the app from my phone because if you've probably been on the app, you know that it just sucks you in for hours.
Yeah.
So I wasn't being productive. And since we are not actually posting on that platform, I had to delete it because it was just making me
I think we can still
non-productive.
post without having the platform in your phone.
Exactly. You can post online, which is definitely an advantage.
Yeah,
Right?
we talked about that concept of being a consumer versus a producer many times in the show. But again, if you have the TikTok account, right, and you do need to fight that algorithm because they will show you things and you will not be able to leave. So are you going into the platform as a producer mindset to see what's happening and like what are the trends, or are you seeing as a consumer? So I personally do not have it on my phone either. I don't know. I can't seem to get into it, but besides the fact,
it has good humor in it. It has very good humor. That's the other thing. TikTok algorithm, they know how to target you. Like once you like something, they're just gonna show you more and just keep you in that rabbit hole.
I know.
But let's go back to how did we decide on this topic, right? We saw this chart that we get in our email is very, very cool. Shout out to Charter, right? They do awesome. They have some awesome insights, and they shared the expected revenue for TikTok this year. That is gonna be $12 billion. And this is year 6 of TikTok. And just for comparison, Facebook didn't break the 10 billion barrier until after year 10.
Yeah.
So
Snapchat,
that is some fast growth.
Yeah, Snapchat looks like on year 10, they're about 4 billion.
I mean, Snapchat hasn't even crossed 10 billion yet.
Yeah. Twitter hasn't crossed 10 billion. There are 5 billion year 16. YouTube, 29 billion on year 16. That's crazy.
I know. So I have a theory on why TikTok has been very successful so quickly. Do you have a guess? What do you think they've been able to grow so fast? Besides having a good app with great algorithm that keeps people sucked in for long periods of time.
Well, I think for once, people were already educated on social. That's a powerful thing, right? You see all these platforms and they were educating people on how to be on social, right? In their own regards. Like you see platforms like Facebook or Snapchat or YouTube more of a search engine. It's a different thing, but there's an education curve. A lot of people coming into TikTok, they already knew how to use social from those apps. And I think the adoption process was just faster, right? Shareability, easy access to technology. I think a lot of people have access to mobile phones where the platform is installed.
Yeah. I personally think it was 2 key points that made TikTok's growth fast. without taking into consideration like how easy the app is to use and like how good it is at targeting whatever, right? I think it was people started hating a lot on, other social medias like Facebook, and they were like, oh, we just want to move away from Facebook. You got the Social Dilemma, that Netflix documentary that caused a ruckus. I think that's how you pronounce the word.
Ruckus.
And then the other thing is, I feel like they already had a playbook, right? Because Facebook and all these other social medias, they lay down the work on how do you grow a social media platforms in terms of like, okay, when potentially are you supposed to introduce advertising for other companies, right? Which is how they make their money. So I think just having that game plan kind of like facilitated the TikTok growth, plus the fact that they had so many people jumping into the platform. Definitely helped out.
Yeah. I mean, I think early on it got a lot of publicity, right?
I mean, now we see TikTok in F1. Like they advertise in F1 and stuff like that is crazy.
Yeah. Also, they got a lot of fire, right? So whether, good publicity or bad publicity, right? Whatever that is. But I think that drove a lot of traffic in there. I think a new generation as well that has, like as mentioned earlier, has access to technology and they feel at home on TikTok, for example. And that's the platform they're going to use. There's, a generation that does not have access at all. They don't consume content either on Facebook or Instagram for whatever reason. And then TikTok is their platform. And like TikTok, I'm sure there's going to be other platforms that are coming back up on a different, in the future.
I actually heard this. I read it. I read this stat somewhere. I don't remember where exactly, but it was that Gen Z now uses TikTok more for search even than Google. So they are searching stuff in TikTok rather than Google. How crazy is that?
That's amazing. That is amazing. Google, watch out.
Yeah. It's super interesting. So obviously that has drawn a lot of businesses into the platform to spend their dollars to get in front of, especially now millennials that, they have the purchasing power, and Gen Z too, upcoming purchasing power.
So I'll share some stats before we dive into the last few minutes and Fonzi explains like, what does that mean for B2B or for your business, right? So TikTok generated an estimated 4.6 billion revenue in 2021, 142% increase year on year. TikTok had 1.2 billion monthly active users in Q4 in 2021. That's insane, right? So
that's a lot.
Obviously, I'm sure as you're listening to these stats, you're like, what the heck? Like if I'm not there, why I'm not there? But as far as like TikTok global internet penetration is used in 18% of global internet from users from age 16 to 64. So for those that think that TikTok is for just the young, no. Everybody is really on the platform. TikTok has reached 3 billion downloads in June 2021. It was the seventh most downloaded app in the 2010s. This is all about data.ai. And I think like this is the most interested that because it's relevant to our world, right? The question is like, how many marketers plan to use TikTok, right? Do you read the stat already?
I just read it,
okay.
yeah.
All right. So I was going to be like, guess. But if you're at home, guess. You guessed? Okay.
This is like Dora the Explorer.
Dora the Explorer, yeah. You guessed? Okay. The number is 14% of marketers planned to up their spend in 2021. This is according to Hotspot, our amazing sponsors. However, only 3% see it as the most effective social media channel.
That is very interesting.
Very interesting. And that's by Civic Science. Very interesting. What do you think that is?
First, I think other channels are working for a lot of people. So why are you going to change what works? I think people are coming in with a mindset of let's test, then invest, right? Whether it works or not. And so they're potentially not moving their attention from the things that are working. Now, also, it could be that since the generations that are in there mainly are millennials and Gen Z, it might not be necessarily their audience. Who knows, right? At the end of the day, my personal take is that I think TikTok, it's a great place to test message, right? And we can agree here with Colin and Samir, put a lot of content out there, a lot of volume, and see what's working. See what resonates with people. When you
say a lot of volume, can we give an estimate on numbers? Like, for example, 10 posts a day?
5-10 posts a day, right? Just put them out into the world and see what resonates with people, and then grab that, and that you can potentially use as a top of funnel ad inside of TikTok, and then redirect people to your offer, to your landing page, whatever it is. But also, you can double down on that specific topic, and it will draw people's attention. So you can create a longer form content and publish it in YouTube, etc., and then drive traffic there as well. Again, I see TikTok as a very top of funnel content with a very high chance of, exposure to new people, what other people call just virality, right? Of a lot of new eyeballs in your brand, in your content. That being said, I don't think it's amazing to build community. I think you still need a conversion process where you take them out of that platform and build your community. That being said, though, we love podcasting, and that's how we build communities, how we build our relationships. And I think TikTok is great to drive awareness to your podcast if you have the ability to go live. I think if you have the ability to go live, and then, just as we're going live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, you name it.
Yeah.
If we get the permission, right, to go live on TikTok, I think you need like 10,000 followers, something like that. I think that would be a game changer.
I think, talk about podcasting on bigger platforms, right? A lot of people, including us, right? We grab the snippets or shorts from the episode, and then we share them on these platforms like TikTok coming soon, and Reels and different things where it's top of funnel, right? Like what resonates, right? So how you divide that information could be polarizing things, interesting things, or like a specific topic, and then you can make that longer video on YouTube that have a longer shelf life, is search engine, right? But now that you mentioned TikTok can also be a search engine, right? That's another layer to that game. Now, here's something that we encounter in the space, and you got to be aware of, is a lot of people consume content in different platforms, different ways, right? So your TikTok user, it might not be a podcast listener. So a lot of people is like, hey, how do I advertise my platform, my YouTube channel, my podcast in these platforms, right? Not necessarily that TikTok user is going to convert into a podcast listener. Some of them will, and it's up to you to kind of find like what that balance is, right? So one thing that has helped us whenever we create content for, from the platform, call it podcast, to TikTok or Reels, is select those individual pieces of ideas that can help you develop further content versus advertising for your podcast, because you can still put that out there because the listeners are going to find you, or they're going to go, but that transition from short form consumer to long form consumer is not usual. That's why if you need to advertise your podcast, what we mentioned in the last series of the last episodes, you got to be guesting on other shows, right? So use TikTok, start testing, like what's the content that works there. If you already have a platform and you create content from that platform into this, start testing 5 to 10 different clips a day and see what happens and gather that feedback. I think it's super important to develop your own framework on how to use this 12 billion train. Yeah,
I do believe, and I probably have to check on this, but TikTok ads might be, kind of like Facebook was at the beginning, that they were cheap, right? Mm-hmm. So it's probably good for you to, like, if you want to run ads in there and drive traffic somewhere else, I think TikTok might be a good idea. So actually we can potentially test some ads, run them to the podcast, and then come back and see have a report for people. I think that would be very interesting.
Is that our action item?
Yeah, that's going to be the action item. Run ads on TikTok, driving people to content is profit, and then see what is either the conversion, click-through rate. Let's just see how it affects the podcast.
Sounds good. And I'll encourage, if you're listening right now, you do have a podcast, try do that. Try to run some ads. Something that you can do is grab some clips from your episode and put some money behind it.
If you want to learn how to grab some clips from your episode, what part of the podcast should you grab? Or maybe what is the process that you can use to, pick these clips and create them efficiently, so you don't, spend all your time struggling trying to get those out, and then you forget about, fulfilling work for your clients. Let us know that is what we do and how we help people. So just reach out at BIZBROS on Facebook and Instagram, and we'll be more than happy to share with you our process.
That's right. Now, I have a question for you. Do you like these shorter episodes, a little bit more to the point? If you do, let us know on social media. Obviously, we love conversations, and we're always open to those. But I've been enjoying these type of episodes recently.
Yeah, I like this one.
There might be some more coming. So if this is useful, if it's actionable, where you can test it and see, and it helps your business and your publishing platform, let us know. We love feedback.
Yeah, I like this ones, and then there's some coming with crazy marketing stories. I'm excited for those.
Crazy marketing stories.
And then we can actually showcase the marketing principles behind those powerful lessons.
That's right. All right, Fonzie, I think that's the episode. With that said, guys, thank you so much for tuning to the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite platform and on social media at BIZBROS.
That is right. And if today's episode helped you move one step closer towards your goal, please don't forget to share this episode and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.